Hi, welcome to Lead with Love podcast. I'm your host, Christy, and I am super thrilled to be sharing conscious content that I know will be a game changer for you in your life. Every aspect of our journey requires growth for change so that we can evolve into our best selves. And in each one of these episodes, we're going to lead with the intention to water our souls, feed our minds, and inspire ourselves to love more and deeper. It's so important that we begin to love where we've been, love where we are, and love where we are growing.
I'm better with you. I'm better with you. I'm better because you give meaning to the words I love you. I'm better with you. I'm better with you. I'm better because you are who I love to say those words to. You're always with me in the head. I take you with me in my heart. It's better when I'm in your bed. It's better when we're not apart. I just
This is one of my favorite ones. This one is modified the other day. I love this one. This will get us really going here. Such a good one. Jason Mraz, it's called Gratitude. So let's start off with some gratitude. Such a good song to start with.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I thank the boys who kicked my ass when I was 17. I thank the ones who chose to laugh and those who acted mean. I thank the bullies for all their scraps and accidents and then some. They shaped my life. They made me like who I've become.
Isn't that true?
They shaped my life. They made me love who I am.
Love Canada.
I thank the girls who gave the hand and showed me how to dance. And I thank the ones who turned me down and never gave me a second chance. I learned that it's okay for hearts to go on their own way. They shaped my life. They made me like who I am today.
To have all of you here.
They shaped my life. They made me love who I am. That's right. That's right, now I've got gratitude. Yes, I do.
Right, bonjour.
Gratitude.
Sierra Madre, California, welcome.
I've got gratitude.
Hello,
Yes, I do. Gratitude.
This will get you in the mood. The key to happiness, to freedom, to being our true authentic self.
I thank the captains of the
Hello, Long Beach.
who brave the seas. And I thank the farmers for their sowing up those seeds. And I thank the men who paved the roads I'm traveling on.
Where are you from?
They
Share with
shaped
everyone
my
here.
life. They took me down the paths I've gone.
Long Beach is
I
in the
thank the
house.
volunteers for giving up their time for free. I thank the engineers, all those who keep our water clean. I thank the janitors for all their years behind us. They shaped my life. They generosity. They shaped my life. They helped me see who I could be. Now I've got gratitude. Yes, I do.
Omaha.
Gratitude. I got gratitude. Yes, I do. Gratitude.
My Oregon friend, Christy, she's doing this from Hawaii.
How much gratitude do we have? Hello, Manitoba. So stoked for you to be here, Lydia. Glad you're all here. It's epic to be here with you all. Encinitas, Carissa. Hi, baby. Australia. Hi, Chelsea. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We just had to start with this song. There's some great lyrics
lyrics can really touch your whole heart and just penetrate you, right?
So
Maui,
grateful.
I'm in your phone. I'm in Maui right now, everyone. Big Island, Hawaii. I'm close to you too. Hi, Ottawa. Glad to have you in the house. So excited. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We're just going to wait a few more minutes. Portland, hope you're staying safe and all that smoke. Hi, Arizona. So glad you're
I am
here.
grateful for deep breaths.
And deep breaths. A lot of people can't breathe in right now because of all the smoke that's covering the West
I'm
Coast.
grateful for my health.
Are you grateful for your health?
I know tomorrow is uncertain.
Yes, I love this song. Tomorrow is uncertain, and you're here.
And I know time is our greatest wealth.
I hear a little bit.
So beautiful. So beautiful. So glad you all are here. We're together, celebrating
I
another
am
week
grateful
together.
for my teachers.
Who are your teachers?
And there's many of them. They taught me how to follow my heart.
And that's what we're doing
They
tonight,
taught
talking
me
about
that
following your
all
heart.
of the world is a stage. They taught me life imitates art.
Life imitates art.
Doesn't anyone want snack?
My parents,
This one's a good one. These lyrics are really good.
and I'm grateful they divorced. When they divided, they multiplied it. And two parents became
Called Gratitude
four.
by Morass.
And I am grateful for my fur friends, the ones that follow me around, singing meow, 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 meow. They remind me
Such
to
a great
slow
song to sing with your
down,
kids too, right? Start every day with this song.
to
End
kneel
every day
and
with this
kiss the ground.
All right. Hopefully you're feeling it. It's moving
I
you.
am grateful for
For
music.
music.
It helps me feel understood. And I'm grateful to gratitude itself. It helps me look for the good.
Looks for the good. Here we go. We're looking for the good.
Look for the good.
All right.
I look for the good.
Looking for the good. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, 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 welcome to the second week of this series that I've been called to step into, to spend time with each of you. For those of you that have been called to this time with me, I am honored and I feel a great privilege that I get to be your teacher, as many of you have been my teacher along my journey. And it's such a gift that we can all be together and we can learn from one another. And the wisdom that I've learned on my journey, as I share with you tonight, it's some of it is from experience and some of it is from great teachers. And I've always believed that when you learn, it is our ethical obligation to teach. Okay, a lot of people have missed that step. They learn, they do so much personal growth, they pour into themselves, they pour into themselves, they pour into themselves, and they never share it because they're afraid to share their voice. They're afraid of what people might think, or they don't think that people really want to hear what it is that they have to say. All right, so we don't share, we keep it in. And I've learned that one of the greatest gifts that we can give, not only to ourselves, but to our planet, to each other, is the gift of is our teachings and our experience and our insight, as well as our understanding. And so today we're going to be talking about becoming our authentic self. And this is really important because what else is there? Right? Like, aren't we all just really trying to unmask what we've created over these decades of can you guys hear me okay, or should I put my earphone? I'm gonna put these in real quick, maybe that you can hear me better here. I like to be outside. I just love being with nature, so if it's too loud, I'll go inside. Is that better? give me heads up if that's better. Okay, sweet, fabulous. You know, we've spent so many years just putting on mask after mask after mask after mask, trying to be everything that the world wants us to be, right? And a lot of the times we wake up and we're like, who am I? How many of you are like, I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I like, right? I don't even know. I don't know. I just want to know who I am. Like, I want to know myself. And I love, I don't know if you've seen Zoolander, but I love that scene where Ben Stiller looks into the water on the ground and he says, who am I? And it's a really funny scene, but it stayed in my mind for so long because I've asked myself that so many times. And actually today I was journaling because, you know, I'm working through some personal stuff, and as we always are, that'll never change. I mean, till we go until we leave this planet, we're always going to be working, hopefully. But I wrote that question today, and this is what it just came to me, and I'll share it with y'all. I mean, I'm always vulnerable with you, but it says, you know, what's best for me will align with me. It will always find me. There are no accidents in this life. All souls who I co-create with are truly divine appointments. I let go. I let go of the needing to know or the feeling of fear. I trust in the divine plan laid out for me. I trust spirit. I trust that I am being guided for my highest good and my highest evolution. And it's a constant, you know, reminder that I must go to that sacred space within myself and take that time to really honor what my soul is saying to me. And typically our soul is whispering to us. It's not typical. The ego is very loud, right? And the ego makes us fearful. It puts us into control mode. It puts us into get done mode. It's the ego does that. The ego can be very good, but the ego can be very damaging. And, you know, for most of my life, I was being who I thought the world wanted me to be in order to get love and connection. Okay. In order to be a part of something bigger than myself, in order to get attention, because I lacked getting positive attention when I was younger. I wanted to feel connected. And I thought, well, if I get a crown, if I get enough titles, if I'm a good girl, if I'm a really good human, then that means I'm going to be worthy of love. I'm going to be worthy of connection. And people will say, oh, you're such a good person. You're such a great person, you know? And I got value from that. It was important for me for people to look at me and say, oh, she's a good person because she's a contributor to society. You know, she's not lazy. She sits around and she gets things done and she makes things happen and she, you know, and wow, what a lonely place to be. I actually got so far off my track. I started acting like the women that I looked up to. Not only did I act like them, I dressed like them. And I found myself talking like them. And I so lost who I was, you know, it was like I was two different people. One was who I thought the world wanted me to be loved. And then the other one was crying to really come out and be seen. And of course, as humans, we crave connection. You know, we just want to be a part of a community. And so the fear of being different a lot of times causes us to not do anything. It's just, you know, let me just stay under the radar. And that's actually a slower death of the soul I've uncovered because we're not truly embodying what it is our soul craves and longs for. We're living off of, you know, it's now normal, Debbie. I don't know who I really am. We're really all just shedding away, you know, the layers and the stories and the illusions. And many of you have heard me talk about Joe Dispenza, and they've proven scientifically, okay, my friends, that the emotional DNA from our ancestors has been passed down to us. All right, I really want you to think about this. So your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother, grandfather could have had a traumatic thing happen to them, just super traumatic. And that got passed down each generation. Sometimes those things get unlocked within us. And what happens is have you ever been afraid of something and you don't know why you're afraid of it? Like some person's just deathly afraid of heights, and nothing happened to them to make them deathly afraid of heights, but they're deathly afraid of it. Well, you can thank the ancestors for that, because likely something occurred to them that was then passed down and was triggered inside of yourself, and you took that on as being yours. How many of you think that those feelings are actually who you are, and then you shame yourself and you blame yourself and you compare yourself to everybody else? Wow. Recently I was it's crazy because, you know, in business I dealt with my fair share of insecurities in the beginning, and I worked through it, pushed through it, got my badass on and just went to town and just made an impact. And since my divorce over, it's been now a year and a half since my separation or something like that. I'm not counting, but since then, I had developed insecurity in my relationship with my boyfriend. And I was, as I was witnessing these emotions and these triggers come up inside of me, I was like, what is going on? This is not who I am. Right? And then in aspects of myself, I would start shaming myself. I'm like, come on, Christy, come on, you know better than this. You've done this work. Come on, girl. Do you know who you are? You know, I'm trying to self-talk the hell out of all of, you know, what's happening. And then I recognized that I really had to be gentle, and I needed to allow what needed to come up. And that there were traumas that occurred with me in relationship that were incredibly traumatic. And not only for a lot of my life, you know, it kept repeating, okay, until I learned the lesson. So it shows up in a different form, disguised as something else, but it's the same feeling, and it keeps showing up. It keeps showing up. And every time, most of the time, I would run away or put a Band-Aid on it. Slap a Band-Aid on it, run away, go inside, disconnect. Don't show too much of yourself, because you know what happens when you do that. When you love unconditionally, you know what's around the corner, don't you? When you give your whole self and you hold nothing back, damn, there's going to be something, isn't there? So this is what we have a tendency to begin to believe and drink the Kool-Aid. Okay, and we have to be super aware of what's happening, because this gets us into cycles. And it gets us into moving further away from who we actually are. And so how we mask that, you know, those feelings, is we'll just cover it up, and we'll do tons of personal growth, and we'll just slap Band-Aids on stuff, and we'll say it's this and say it's that, and we'll busy ourselves so much that we lose connection with who we actually are, because we don't want to look at what's surfacing. We don't want to look at it. And the truth is, friends, we have to look at it. We have to look at what's coming up. We have to, otherwise you're never going to truly feel authentic. You're never going to truly feel connected to who you are meant to be while you're here. And so once I'm actually not opposed. I've had some, you know, interesting internal dialogue about, am I for going for extrinsic goals? Okay. Do I really want to continue to preach that this is a worthy service to humanity? And I've come to conclude, and I could change this at any point, obviously, on the journey, but I do believe it's necessary. And the reason I believe that it's important to continually grow is because each level that we grow to awakens different aspects of ourself, and we gain more confidence. And it's kind of like it's just like a ladder of evolution. It's like, okay, you become more, you begin to open your heart more, you begin to manifest more, you begin to bring more people into your world that will help you to rise in whatever that might be. The problem that many people get into is when they're setting goals, is that they think that goals are going to fix everything. Well, I'm really going to know who I am when I get to this goal. And then I'll get the love and respect that I really want to have. Then my parents will say, good job, well done. You know, pat me on the back and tell me I'm a good little girl or a good little boy. Who are you? You know, I love Tony Robbins when he says, whose love did you crave the most as a child? Your mother or your father's? Really think about whose love, not whose love did you get the most, but whose love did you crave the most? So I really want you to think about whose love you crave the most. And in that craving of love, what did you have to do in order to get love? So Carissa says her father, for sure, he was always gone. So who did Carissa have to be in order to get daddy's love and affection? Caroline said, my dad. Masculine, had to be the man. Carissa said, I had to be the man, be strong, be confident, you know, be the go-getter, the doer, right? Caroline said, had to achieve to get attention. Perfect grades, right? Dad, many daddy issues too. My mom, she was emotionally cold. Mom. My dad for sure, but I never got there, just to be noticed. He just wanted to be noticed, right? So a lot of these things play out as adults. And for me, I had 4 fathers, and my mother was my mother and father. And what I recognized was that when I was achieving, when I was becoming a beauty queen, or when I was in a magazine, everyone stopped fighting. There was no more abuse in the house. And I saw my mom happy, where I saw most of her life, she wasn't happy because she was being abused. But this was like, it was like Disneyland for my family when I was achieving. So in order to feel love and connection from sources, I felt like, and you know, up until, you know, now I'm 44 years old, I've really uncovered, wow, wow, I was looking for love in all the wrong places now, wasn't I? And, you know, I have to be really conscious of that too, because I recognize that even, you know, in my partnership with my beautiful boyfriend, I, you know, that achiever, like, you know, am I being the best woman I can be? You know, am I just completely being the best I can be to hold that space? And it's just interesting what the programs will do to us. So I encourage you to sit down tonight and really just journal, you know, and understand. So if you can understand the pattern, you can break the pattern. And what I have found is that I ask myself this question, like, what do I love? What brings me joy? I mean, what do I really love? What really makes me happy? And how, to me, when I say, I don't know, no, it's now time to start paying attention. Okay. So if you're paying attention and you see someone maybe on Instagram is not used, it should not be used for you to compare yourself to somebody else's highlight reel. So let's just change that story, because a lot of people do a really great job of really, you know, blaming social media or slashing it for, you know, the insecurities we feel. We can't put our insecurities on and blame anything or anybody else. It's how we choose to see it. So if you use it as a place of inspiration and you see something, you're like, oh my God, I would love to do that. Oh my gosh, I would love to learn that. I would love to salsa dance. I would love to go surfing. I would love to write a book. I would love. Write it down in your journal. Let it be a playground of ideas for you to uncover what sparks you, what ignites you. Go play, not too long. Just when you scroll, you're going to see aspects of people that will inspire you and bring out the best in you. Write that down. The buffet of life is offering you millions and millions of feelings and experiences, and that's how you begin to learn what makes me happy. Okay? When you look for it, you will find it, right? We always find what we're looking for. I don't want you to spend too much time on this, but what makes you unhappy? Don't do it. And something as little as, it used to make me incredibly unhappy to do the dishes. And my boys didn't like it either. I just like, Urgh. And so I was like, how can I bring joy to this? I got to do the freaking dishes. And so I turned on music and I started dancing, and I'd start doing dishes, and it made the whole experience so much more enjoyable. My next hurdle is enjoying folding laundry. I have this thing where I'll do all the laundry and I throw it in a pile on my floor, and it looks like Mount Kilimanjaro, and it's so funny. I walk by it all the time. I'm like, oh, isn't that just great? Hi, nice to see you. It's like I'm gonna win, it's like I'm gonna win this battle. It's not folding itself, and every time I lose. But it's the story that I tell myself, God, I just don't like doing this. So, one thing that I intend to work on when I get back is to create a new story around folding laundry. And maybe it's playing the gratitude song. And every time I fold clothes, I'm thinking of all the things I'm grateful for. And that was really healing for me. Actually, I did a gratitude hike a couple months ago. I was really going through really challenging emotional time. And I was like, I got to get out of my head. I got to get out of my house, got to get out of my head. I'm just going to go hike. And so I went hiking, and I said, okay, for this whole hour that I'm hiking, I'm going to just go through everything I'm grateful for, every person. And by the time I was done, my feelings about what I was feeling was gone. And I felt so happy, so alive, so excited. So we just have to reprogram. And because we have neural pathways that we've built, and we have emotions built into those neural pathways, and it becomes an addiction, and we don't even realize it. All right. So I really would also, to help you guys figure out what it is you want, first and foremost, you have to understand where you are. Okay. It would be ridiculous if you got in your car and said, I want to go somewhere, but you don't go put gas in the car. All right. And you never take it out of a park. You have to have somewhat of a plan. All right. Being in the flow is beautiful, and it's necessary in order to really manifest and attract things into your life. And we talked about manifesting last week's webinar. But you really need to know where you're at. So the thing I like to do is I like to think back in these 7 categories. I really like to kind of, measure where I'm at in these categories. The first one's relationships, the most important relationships. I call it the circle of trust. So these are my kids, my partner, my best friends, family. They're in the circle. Okay. And then outside the circle are then, the next level friends and next level friends. Okay. And so you really want to ask yourself right now, how happy am I? Okay, plus or minus in my relationship categories right now. Is it a positive or is it a negative? Okay, so go ahead and write that down, positive or negative. Next thing you're gonna look at is career. How happy am I? Positive or negative? Health, positive or negative? Wealth, positive or negative? Fun, positive or negative? Personal growth and spirituality, positive or negative? And then giving back, positive or negative? Now,
you've heard me say this many times, that it's pretty safe to assume that the areas that you're happy in are the areas you're actually growing in and you're putting in your time. Would you all agree with that? Yeah. So typically and there's a lot of women here, and so forgive me if I'm leaving any boys out. I'm not intending to, but the deal is typically for a lot of women, we give to everything else, and then if there's anything left over, we'll give to ourselves. And this has been passed down ancestrally. I mean, big time, right? And this is where we really need to wake up, because this is why you don't know who you are, and why you're really not loving the space that you're in, because you've disconnected with your source. You've disconnected with your connection to the source. And for each of you, many of you have different religious backgrounds, spiritual backgrounds, whatever it might be, that's yours and yours only. And it's important, though, to recognize that that connection with that source is and should be your number one. It's in those times when you're connecting, you're meditating, you're being mindful, you're praying, you're really allowing space for downloads. What I love about meditation is a time for downloads from God and the universe, and prayer is asking for what you want. Why would you just ask for what you want and not have download time? Kind of ridiculous, right? Because the download time is telling you how to get what it is you're praying for. See where we've missed that one? That's a biggie. A lot of people miss that one. It's necessary. And, you know, after your connection there, it's important then to take care of yourself. Reading your books, doing your growth and your development, putting good things into your body, putting great things onto your body. This is a form of self-love. Self-love is pertinent. Okay, this is what I love teaching women. This isn't about let's look like a Kardashian and let's schlepp makeup all over ourselves and look, show our butts off on Instagram all the time and look at how hot we are. Like, come on, women, we need to stand up for some class, right? And show some grace and honor the feminine body without, making it so sexual. It's like, sexuality is beautiful, but if you're doing certain things to get attention from men, this is where we have to stop, because so many young women are struggling, not only young women, but women in general, because they're looking at these experiences and they're thinking, I can't be like that. I can't do that. And unfortunately, our men are also not standing up and saying, hey, listen, we're just going to tell you that's not sexy. You know what's sexy is a classy woman who's confident, loves herself, honors her body. To me, I have no problem with showing our beauty in our body. We should be proud of our body. If you have curves, no curves, doesn't matter. Cellulite, health damage, I don't care. You should be proud of it. But it's when we exploit ourselves for affection, connection, and love. And this is where, I'm going to encourage all of you as women to really dig into honoring your body, honoring those curves, honoring every aspect of it. Give other women permission. Give other women permission. I like to go get my hair done. I like to get some lashes in. I like to go do these different things, but I can also let my hair go gray and not do it and pee in the woods. Okay. I don't need it to feel fulfilled. I like to play dress up. It's fun to be a girl. It's fun to feel beautiful, right? Whatever that means for you. For some, it's like, I would never feel beautiful putting on lashes. I feel beautiful in my sweats and my tank top barefooted. That is beautiful. Be beautiful. Be whatever that is for you. And you don't have to fit into a mold. I encourage you not to. Just be yourself. So, wealth is very much tied to money. Well, it is money. Wealth, I'm talking about financial wealth. But financial wealth and self-love are very, very, very much tied together. So if you feel like you are lacking in financial independence in your life, it's likely because you are lacking self-love. And yes, I am working on that. Is my 5th book I'm writing, because I'm also still constantly learning how to love myself more, and also to allow others to love me. Anybody have a hard time with allowing others to love them? Right? We can give love. Oh, I'm the best lover, right? Oh my gosh, I am a great lover. But then and it's like, wait, it's okay, you know, to allow the love in. We must. You will find this category in your life, your wealth category will start to really surprise you. Things that you never thought could happen will begin to happen when you begin to really love yourself. Fun is so important. If you're not laughing, up into my divorce, I found that I really didn't ever laugh. My ex and I never really laughed together. And you know, it is what that is. It's not on him, it's not on me. I just recognize that I've always took my life so seriously. And, you know, now it's recognizing I want to laugh, whatever that is. I want to laugh. I want to watch comedies. When I do watch a movie, I want to watch things that make me laugh and feel good. I want to not take myself so seriously. I want to explore. Where do you want to travel? What do you want to do? Do you want to be spontaneous? Does that light your fire? That totally lights my fire, you know? So what's fun for you? And then your personal growth. Are you happy there? Is it a plus or minus sign? And then giving back, plus or minus. And so if you want to change these areas of your life, what are you going to have to do? I mean, this is all common sense. You need to put more time in these areas. Okay? Put more time into those areas. Get very intentional. Look at it every day. Check in with yourself every day, every week, every month. Okay, am I on target? Am I doing the things that I need to do to get the results that I want to get in my life? Am I being consistent with my effort? What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life for tomorrow. A good friend of mine shared that with me, and I thought, I'm going to write that one down, Melissa, and I'm going to share that with everyone. What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life tomorrow. So we really, really want to make sure that sometimes I feel like there's the things that it just feels a little too heavy for me to handle. Do you sometimes ever just, your brain is just going into overdrive and you just can't focus and you don't know how to handle what's going on? And I find that happens to me. Meditation has helped almost eliminate it when I'm disciplined, with it consistently. But basically, I've recognized that if I'm going to change anything, I have to be conscious of what's going on in my head. Okay? So when you recognize a negative thought, anybody here have a negative thought today? Negative feelings? Yeah. Me too. And my girlfriend said, brilliant woman, was hanging out with her today. She said, this man that I work with, he told me something really powerful to do when I have these negative thoughts. And he said, you've got to create new neural pathways. So just observe the negative thought. And then what you need to do is you need to go create the opposite story from the negative thought and spend 10 minutes with the new story. This is how you will reprogram and rewire your brain. So please stop beating yourself up thinking something's wrong. The mind just repeats the day before, the day before, the day before. And it's a record player of even what our family and our partners and the people we love have spoken into us. So it's hate or mean things have been spoken into us, what's going to be on repeat? And what's going to be on repeat with what you say to yourself? All right? So if you really want to be your authentic self, we must begin to pay attention and be aware of what's going on in the head. We can truly self-improve our way out of just about every situation, right? And none of us enjoy the struggle. I mean, there are some people that do enjoy the struggle. I'm learning to be that person who's like, oh, yay, I feel like crap right now. Yeah, that darkness is coming up to the surface. This is great. I'm so excited. Let's get to work. Woo! Yeah, I'm working on that. But typically it goes more like this. Oh gosh, no, it's another test. Okay. I got it. You got it, girl. You can make it through this. You got this. That's usually what it goes like for me. Okay. I'm not quite there yet in saying, oh, thank you, God, for just slamming me against the wall one more time to learn this lesson. We have to begin to know our limits and our boundaries too, and be really kind to ourselves. Really stop doing what you don't want to do. If people ask you to do things and expect you to do things and you yes ma'am everything and you don't want to do it because you're afraid of what they're going to say or that they're going to think you're not a nice person, you have to stop because this is not a form of self-love. You can kindly say, oh, thank you so much for asking me. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to decline. I have other plans. Or thanks for asking me. But it's just not in alignment right now with my path and what it is that I'm, working on. But I appreciate your kindness and wanting me to be involved and asking me to be a part of what it is you're doing. Or there has to be a boundary that you draw, personal boundaries, ladies and boys. Stop letting the world define what your days look like. You define it. You teach people how to treat you. It's not somebody else's fault. If they treat you bad, you've allowed them in your vortex. You've allowed them in your energy frequency. You've allowed them in your world. They're your test. Okay. You don't want to push against yourself though, that's when we stop knowing who we are, is when we're pushing against ourselves. And when you push against yourself, that means, yourself says, you know what I really want to do today is nothing. Because, I work every day consistently on being a better person. I give back to the world. I'm doing things. But today I want to sit on the couch and I want to cuddle with my kids. And I want to watch Disney movies all day and eat popcorn. That's okay. When it's not okay is when it becomes a habit and you're doing it all the time and you're running away from and avoiding. It's called avoidance behavior. That's when it's not okay, and that's when it can be very toxic. But follow your bliss. Ask yourself, does this make me happy? If it doesn't make you happy, take a mental note. Don't do that again. Does this person consistently negative when I'm around them? Do I feel like crap when I'm around them? Well, maybe I need to rethink that. Okay. Sometimes though, when something feels really heavy in our life, we may need to sit with it for a little while. Okay. How many of you are runners when something comes up and you just want to run? Okay. I used to be a runner. Oh yeah. Used to be a runner. And, now when something comes up, it comes up and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Respond, don't react. Respond, don't react. What's the best way to respond to this in the highest vibration that's going to make me feel good on the other side? And it's going to leave, it's not going to create damage in somebody else's life. Okay. So sometimes the best thing to do is to just sit with what's triggering you and allow the feelings to come up. Let it come up, look at it and say, oh, hi. That aspect of my personality that doesn't think they're worthy, welcome to the table. Let's have a chat. So what makes you think you're not worthy of success or love? Oh, because your mother didn't think that she was worthy, or your father didn't think they were worthy. Oh, okay. Is that yours? No, that's not mine. All right, so what are we going to do to heal it? Do we want to live like this forever? Do we want to continually live in this struggle and this pain and this suffering? No. All right, so what's the opposite of saying I'm not worthy? I'm worthy. All right, so why don't you and I sit here together, my personality and my true self, and say over and over again, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of connection, I'm worthy of all my dreams, I'm worthy of living my best life, I'm worthy of being happy, I'm worthy of it all, I'm worthy, and do it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And you do this over and over, day after day, until you no longer need to do it anymore. Your brain's a muscle. You got to reprogram it. You got to, and listen, trauma is a profound vehicle for awakening. It is profound. All right. Trauma can be very good for your healing. All right. And you're looking at Christy, listen, there was nothing good about that trauma. Listen, I've had lots of trauma too. Lots of trauma, PTSD, all that yummy stuff that they want to title. But at the end of the day, I am who I am and who I am becoming because of the hard, because of the dark, because of the shadow, because of these people or these incidences that were traumatic or hard. It's helped me to align with more of who I truly am. Sometimes we just have to bear what is unbearable. Bear it. Because everything's truly bearable. If you want to read a fabulous book called Man's Search for Meaning and really learn what unbearable is, and what a man who got put into a Nazi concentration camp and all of his family was killed, and he survived and lived to tell about it, and he did it because of his psychology and the way he chose to see what was happening to him. It's important for us to ride, the waves when these things are occurring for us. Not pushing so much and running, just allowing and recognizing and appreciating just what it is, what's coming up. Appreciating. Our circumstances oftentimes do tempt us to protect our heart, don't they? And when we protect our heart, that keeps us from being in our truest, most authentic self. And so, why do we protect our heart? We're afraid of getting hurt. We're afraid of failure. Because we grow up and, we take the test and we get that red marker that says D or F. And we learn and we're conditioned that failing means that you're a failure, that you're not good enough, you're not special enough, you're not one of the special ones. Some of you then overcompensate and were so afraid to fail that you would stop having fun and joy in your life because you knew that there would be suffering if you didn't get the grades. And that suffering would come from your family or other children making fun of you. And so you get really hard on yourself, really freaking hard on yourself, and you beat yourself up a lot. You say hard your heart. And see, to really truly become your truest authentic self, you must begin to take down the walls around your heart. The walls around our heart, it's not protecting us. It's keeping us in the shadows. It's keeping us from experiencing the true depth that we're meant to experience in this life. The most beautiful light, the most beautiful love, It comes from opening our heart. It's not our responsibility what other people do, right? We can't control that. But as a lot of times as strong women, we like to control. We want to control it. Yep, I'm going to control this situation, because if I control the situation, then I have a greater chance of you not hurting me. And I don't like what it feels like to get hurt. But we have to understand, you know, when I first moved to the mountain to Ashland, I'd had a car accident when I was 19 and was with my boyfriend at the time. And the temperature changed. It was like 70s, and then it changed as we went up the mountain, and there was a mist, and we hit black ice, and I was driving, and the car spun and it hit an embankment and crashed the car, and we were fine, luckily. But when we got out, we were literally feet away from going off a cliff. And I was mortified. I was petrified. And so every time after that, every time I would go into the mountains, or someone would be driving me in the mountains, or I would be driving, my heart would race, and I would get into a panic. And even my boys, when I first moved to Ashland, they were like, we're gonna go drive up the mountain. And the whole time I'm panicking, you know, I'm sweating. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know, be safe, be careful, keep your eyes, you know, and I'm just like going through this list in my head. And I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna live like this. I'm not gonna be paralyzed by this for the rest of my life. You know what, I just gotta go drive the mountain. And I'm going to drive it, and I'm going to drive it. And the first time I started driving it, I was like holding on so tight, my knuckles, and I was just, you know, and then I started driving a little bit faster, got more comfortable, you know, and now there's nothing. It's like, you know, it's nothing for me. It doesn't even bother me. But I had to really go deal and face with what was triggering me, right? But from that past, and I healed it. So what is it that comes up for you now? Is it talking to people? Is it forgiving someone? Is it meeting new people? Is it putting yourself out there, dancing? Is it singing? Is it writing? Is it putting yourself out there on social, because you never really do that? What is it? What is it? Really ask yourself, what is it? And I'm going to encourage you to run into it. And the other way that we can actually move out of our false self, which is our ego, is to do compassionate acts every single time. So when you recognize that you're in yourself, you're in your head, and you are playing a victim, and you're scared, you're afraid, you're alone, you're insecure, whatever emotion it is that comes up, as we all experience, and I vulnerably share with you all the time, you know, I experience these things still, and I work every day on recognizing them and not being a victim to them, and not saying, oh, look at my badge of insecurities and all my wounds. Aren't I great at being wounded? No. But so many people do that, don't they? They just wear their problems right here. Oh, look at my problems. Look at that. No, it's about really saying, okay, I recognize I'm in my false self. I'm not in my truest, authentic self. So if I just reach out and I'm compassionate and I help another soul, this immediately takes you out of your false self and you put you into your true, authentic self. I love what Ram Dass says. He says, most people are afraid to look at what is. They feel like they will break. It is too much for who they think they are, but not too much for who they truly are. Such a beautiful message there. So recognize that, you know, there's suffering in our universe everywhere right now, pretty dramatically, right? People are losing their jobs. They've lost family members. They've lost business. We've had people lose themselves. And yet we've also had a lot of beautiful things come from this experience we've all shared together. It's the yin and yang in life. And so we have to be open to trusting that the suffering is necessary for the evolution, for us to unite as one, and for us to become one, and for us to make the shifts in this planet that need to happen. We must absolutely go through this process. It's humbling. A good friend of mine said, you know, it's a quick drop from the penthouse to the outhouse, isn't it? Quick drop. Many of you were living in the penthouse of life. You go to the grocery store without a mask on, never even think twice about how convenient it was, right? Now we walk out, we have to wear a mask. We go to the store, we wear a mask. We're not able to see people's mouths. We're not able to connect with them as much. Everyone's guarded. We have a new appreciation for humanity. We have a new appreciation for when we actually are able to move from this space, we're able to see each other again. We won't ever take that for granted again, now will we? I know I won't. So are you contributing to the problem? Is a big question you need to ask yourself. What are you transmitting? Are you a part of the web of compassion? Are you a part of the web of hurt? Are you a part of the web of anger? Are you a part of the web of love? What web do you want to be a part of? There's many different webs, and we can get angry and we can be a part of that, and we're going to create more things to be angry about. Or you can be a part of love and trust that I have no control of what's happening in the universe right now. I'm going to go with it. I want to flow with it. I want to do my work. I want to take responsibility for being a lighthouse in the shadows. That is my responsibility, my only responsibility here. So recognize what's pulling you into your greatness is a good sign that you are in alignment with what your soul's craving. Okay? Trust that your emotional guidance system knows what to do. Listen to it. When you have resistance, when you feel resistance, when you don't feel love and unconditional love and peace, you are out of flow with who you truly are. We've been afraid of the woods and the dark for way too long. What are the dark? What are the woods of life? Afraid of dealing with the hard. But as you know, there's always rainbows on the other side of the storms, right? Always. There's always beauty. Always. One day we'll look back and we'll say, whoa, wow, now look at our world. Now look at my life. Wow. So much beauty came from that. So much transformation came from that. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. But in order for us as a consciousness, as a unified consciousness to really, 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 really begin to change, we have to first change ourselves. We've heard Gandhi say that. Be the change you wish to see in the world, right? So are you taking responsibility for the energy that you bring in? Your job's not to be responsible for anybody else, unless you have small children. Your job's to do the work on you. And to recognize when you are in your false self and your false ego. And if you are putting someone else down or shaming someone else or blaming someone else or comparing yourself, you are in your ego. You are not in your true self. Get back on course. And through these teachings of what I've shared with you today, and as you, I hope that you practice it, because if we practice it, we get better at it. And then we all become teachers. That's where we create the ripple. I'm just one person. I can't do it alone. But you know what? There are 79 other souls on here who have a desire for growth and transformation, and you chose to be here. You chose this. Your soul chose this. You said, I'm hungry. I want to expand. I want to grow and expand my light. And I'm proud of you. I celebrate you. I celebrate your souls. I celebrate just everything about who you are, because you're here. And many people, you know, can choose not to be here. So with that being said, I hope that tonight served you. I can't believe I've almost spoke for an hour. Crazy. Goes by so fast. I thank you, and I really love hearing your stories. I love the messages I get from you of how, you know, last week's teachings, you've already started seeing some beautiful miracles manifest in your world because of last week. So let's continue the work. All right, my friends. I love you all so very much. Yes, I love you. And I'm just following my heart here and following my authentic self. And as I feel the need to share and teach, I will, watch for it on Instagram. I'm just being true to myself and what I'm being called to do. So hopefully these teachings keep wanting to come through me to you, and we'll keep doing great work together. So love to all of you, and I appreciate you being here. Yes, love. Should we end with a nice song? I think we should. I don't know this song, but it says Wise Woman, so I'm actually going to go for it because I think we're all wise women and men here.
And so let's just see what this song's all about, and celebrate music and celebrate song and friendship. Listen to the lyrics. This will be fun. We're going to learn some lyrics together. I always love Jason Mraz. He's always just that music to me. One day we're going to have dinner together. I just know it. Who do you want to have dinner with? You got some heroes you want to hang out with? I still believe I'm going to go hang out with Richard.
She's a green garden goddess, tender of the weed.
Sammy, this ought to be your song. My daughter-in-law Sammy just wrote a
She's a real wise woman with so much love to give. She gives so much cause she stays in touch with what her truest nature is. She's a green garden goddess. She is the universe. She's out there with the planets, but she keeps it down to earth because she's a wise woman.
Love these lyrics.
She keeps my mind open.
Keep it in the heart.
She's a wise woman. She keeps her heart open.
Woo! I'm getting chills right now. I didn't even plan this. What great lyrics.
Yeah, she's a green garden goddess, a sage of ancient ways. Cultivating patience, earth has her own pace. She's a wise woman, a midwife and a teacher, a high vibration healer, healing herbal remedies. And I got real high on love. She got me real high on love. When I got so high, I realized love is a gateway drug, and the gates unlocked for us. Love is a wonder drug, and it grows wild, 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 wild.
One of my new favorites. Hi, baby. You're a wise women and men. I love you all. Keep your hearts open until we meet again. Wise women. Oh, not guys. You are a goddess. You are a god.
She's a green garden goddess, daughter of the sun, sister to the moon, mother to everyone. Yeah, she's a wise woman. She keeps my mind open.
Goodbye, everyone.
She's a wise woman.